Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'm watching Tower Bridge Could Have Looked Very Different by Mapman. It's been a while since I watched the video about London Bridge and this is long overdue, so let's watch it. Link to the original video will be down in the description below.
Last time we talked about London Bridge, but this time
Which looks ugly,
talk about Tower Bridge.
but it functions, it works well.
In the 19th century, London became the biggest city on the planet. Its population skyrocketed from 1 million in 1800 to 5 million in 1890.
To accommodate the growth on both sides of the River Thames, the number of bridges shot up too, from 3 to 14.
So far, all of these bridges were appearing to the west of London Bridge.
And the east
Crossings
has
were badly
nothing.
needed to the east as well, but none had been built. Why was this?
Victorian London was the biggest and most important shipping port in the world.
Didn't he already
This
explain
part
this
of
in
the
the
Thames
last
was known
video?
as the Pool of London, packed with docks and warehouses, welcoming boats of all different shapes and sizes from all over the empire to supply Britain with quite literally everything from coal to sugar to dog kennels to mattress protectors to fortune cookies.
Any bridge built east of London Bridge would have to somehow keep access open to the Pool of London for the thousands of very, very tall ships. As the famous saying goes, when you can't build a bridge, build a tunnel, stupid.
And he has a
But in the 19th
fortune
century,
cookie.
this wasn't so easy.
No one had ever managed to dig a tunnel under a river anywhere in the world before. But if anyone was up to the job, it was the terrific Richard Trevithick, mining expert, inventor of the steam train, and a tunnelling superstar in his native Cornwall. In 1807, Trevithick made a good start on a test tunnel in Rotherhithe.
This is gonna fail
But he learnt
miserably.
the hard way that London wasn't Cornwall.
London sits on top of a layer of soft, squishy clay that gets extremely sloppy when wet. Under the river, the clay gets extremely sloppy and extremely squishy indeed.
Trevithick had only got
So, yeah,
halfway across the river.
He's gonna get
The whole thing
buried.
flooded and collapsed, and the project had to be abandoned. Experts all agreed that digging a tunnel under the Thames was impracticable.
But the problem would eventually be solved by a half-English, half-French inventor called Marc Isambard Brunel. Not Isambard Kingdom Brunel, his father. Marc Isambard Brunel didn't know the meaning of impracticable, and neither do I.
Brunel had just invented an invention called Brunel's tunnelling shield, a massive tunnel-sized frame that protected miners while they built brick walls around them. Perfect for solving London's sloppy problem.
Brunel's tunnelling shield made the job possible, but it didn't make it easy.
The project was beset with problems from day 1 to
Also
day
doesn't make it
6,512.
worth
with
it.
constant delays, floods and dead miners, very nearly including his son Isambard.
In 1843, Brunel's Thames Tunnel was finally opened to the public. But it wasn't what Brunel, or anyone, had had in mind. It was decades late and decades over budget, and it wasn't even suitable to use.
With no money left for the
No?
massive ramps required for road access,
So they made the damn thing, even though it wasn't worth it, it cost way too much, and now they can't even use it? Perfect.
they had to make do with spiral staircases at both ends. Its only possible use was as a very pedestrian tourist attraction, which tourists got very tired of very quickly. It became
Yeah,
known
'cause
in the
it's just a
newspapers
damn
as
tunnel.
the Great Bore.
Oh, I get it. Brunel's tunnel did eventually get turned
What a great tourist attraction. Hey, you want to walk through a tunnel that has absolutely nothing in it? Well, go ahead.
into something useful.
So fucking
In
stupid.
1865, the East London Railway bought it and started running their trains under it. You can still visit today on the underground section of the overground. So, with Brunel's tunnel full of trains, not
Well, at
traffic,
least they did
it was time
something
for
with
Thames
it.
Tunnel, take 2. In 1869, the Tower Subway was built. And while this one was completed much faster, 14 weeks rather than 20 years, it too was a failure. This isn't it, by the way.
The nightmarishly
gonna
claustrophobic
say.
Tower Subway was open for just 28 years before closing to the public in 1898. It's still there today, but you're only allowed to use it if you're a utility pipe.
Oh.
Tunnels, in a nutshell, were not up to the job, and neither were tunnels under the Thames. So just how could the City Corporation solve the unsolvable problem of getting traffic across the Pool of London? Get the public to solve it.
The City Corporation's chief architect, Sir Horace Jones, was put in charge
are
of
you gonna
setting
get
up a
them to build
competition
the bridge?
calling for ideas for a crossing that was open to both road and river traffic. More than 50 of Britain's best engineers submitted ideas, but Horace found something wrong with all of them.
I've designed a swing bridge with 2 rotating roadways, so at any time, either one of these 2 paths will be open, and road traffic literally never has to wait.
But every ship would literally always have to wait.
Well, road
No.
traffic's more important.
Not in the 19th century, it's not. Next!
My idea is basically the same, but the road slides out instead of spinning. It's much more complicated and probably isn't going to work, sorry.
Good man.
My design is a transporter bridge lifting people and horses high up on dangly platforms.
Like the one in Middlesbrough.
Yeah?
Oh.
Oh.
My solution is
We make the bridge very tall.
And how will vehicles get up there?
Massive spiral ramps like the ones you get in car parks.
That's hideous. You'll ruin the whole area.
These are all horrible ideas.
Totally ruined.
I mean, theoretically, some of these would work. All of these could technically work, but they're just not practical. This is pointless. And stuff like this, it would take too much time. This just would never work.
Embankment. So, start building on Monday, yes?
No.
All right, well, how about this one?
No.
All right, how about this one?
No.
You don't seem to understand. I am Sir Joseph Bazalgette.
But we're arch enemies.
I built the sewers.
I'm muting you.
You have no authority.
Gentlemen and gentlemen, thank you for your submissions. I have considered them all carefully and decided that the winner is me. Hooray!
Horace Jones picked his own entry and then died. His design was a bascule bridge with flippy bits that raised up to allow ships to pass underneath.
It was a brilliantly simple and actually quite old-fashioned idea.
Honestly,
but to
the
build
best
it on
one.
such a big scale would take some serious engineering expertise. So, Jones's design was improved upon by a proper engineer, John Wolfe Barry,
who got rid of the arches and added 2 walkways up top so pedestrians could cross without waiting. Genius! Despite its ultra-modern engineering, the new bridge was designed to look 1,000 years older than it really was, so that it would forever fit in sensitively with the surrounding architecture, matching the Gothic style of its next-door neighbour, the Tower of London, which is how the bridge got its name, Tower Bridge.
Tower Bridge opened in 1894 and the public fell in love with it immediately. And who can blame them? I mean, look at it!
The bridge became an icon of London and is today arguably the most famous bridge in the world, citation needed.
Wait, there's a Lego set?
And is today arguably the most famous bridge in...
They made a Lego set of this bridge? Who would buy that?
The world, citation needed.
It's so iconic that lots of tourists, mostly Americans, mistakenly call it London Bridge. It's a compliment, really. It feels like it's been here forever, but it's actually so modern we have photos of its construction. It was built for cars. It's newer than the Brooklyn Bridge. Beautiful though it was, the bridge was by no means perfect.
The foot crossing up top was never very popular. With such a long journey up the stairs, it was usually
Yeah,
quicker and always less faff just to wait for the bridge to come down. It also had a reputation for pickpockets and muggers, giving criminals a scenic backdrop for their seedy business.
I mean, that's just all of England.
Walkways were closed in 1910 and stayed closed right up until 1982 when they became part of the Tower Bridge experience.
With Tower Bridge being such a beloved icon, it's incredible to think that this nearly happened to it.
In 1943, famous painter W.F.C. Holden put forward a proposal to encase Tower Bridge in an Art Deco frame of steel and glass. It would bring the structure up to date and protect it from German bombs.
It would look more modern.
Cover it in glass to protect it from bombs? Thankfully, no one at the time thought this was a good idea, and Tower Bridge has remained entirely unchanged. Almost.
In 1977, the exterior was painted in patriotic red, white and blue to celebrate the Queen's Silver Jubilee. It was meant to be a temporary job, but it actually looked kind of nice, so they kept it.
This means that Tower Bridge has the unique honour of being the only bridge in central London that's never been rebuilt.
Every other bridge has been replaced and modernised at some point in the last 200 years.
As well as the structure being unchanged, remarkably, its status hasn't changed either.
Tower Bridge still opens to let big boats through around 800 times a year, but it's still one of the most important road links in London, partly because it forms part of the inner ring road around the congestion charge zone, and partly because more than 120 years after it was built, it remains to this day the only bridge in Greater London east of London Bridge.
Wait, that's weird, isn't it? It's the 2020s. Surely we've got better bridge building technology by now. Is there really no demand for any bridges in East London? And hasn't all the shipping gone away? In fact, why don't they just build loads of tunnels? Well, not that it's any of your business.
Wasn't there a proposal for a tunnel, which would cost way too much? I think I saw that in my video where I reacted to Britain is a dump.
But if you want to know the answer to these questions, tune in next time for another thrilling installment of Unfinished London.
Oh, wait. Why are there no bridges in East London is the next video? And I watched that one first. Oh, great. I watched part 2 before I watched part 1, of course. Whatever. It's not like it matters. So yeah, there was a lot of different interesting designs for Tower Bridge, but they went with probably the most simple and best solution. Usually, simpler things are the better solution. There's no need to overcomplicate things if something simple will work and do the job properly. Like Tower Bridge. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider subscribing and leaving a like. If you're interested, why not watch this video right here? And with that, I hope I'll see you in the next video.